Welcome to Rare Breed Brotherhood. He doesn't need to announce his presence. His peace does it for him. Spotting a Sigma male in public is like trying to catch the wind. He's there, but he's not seeking your attention. He's not loud, not flashy, and not trying to be part of anyone's social performance. That's exactly what makes him stand out to those who can feel the difference. He doesn't need a stage. His quiet confidence is enough. You won't find him chasing trends or adjusting himself just to fit into the crowd. He's not playing the game because he never signed up for it. While others rely on attention to feel valuable, the Sigma man builds his value from within. That's why he walks differently, thinks differently, and carries himself with a calm edge that confuses people who live for approval. He might be sipping his coffee alone, lost in thought while scanning the room for patterns, not people. He's not scrolling endlessly on his phone or pretending to laugh at things he doesn't find funny. He's fully there, just not trying to be seen. If you recognize yourself in these traits, don't second-guess it. The world might not always understand your calm or your distance, but it doesn't need to. You weren't built to follow the noise. You were made to trust your own pace. That's rare, that's powerful, and that's exactly why being a Sigma male is something to respect, not explain. Let's dive in deeper, brothers. Number 1, he's present but invisible. You see, a Sigma male doesn't fade into the background because he lacks confidence. He fades because he has no desire to be the center of attention. He doesn't need eyes on him to feel valuable. He's not trying to be mysterious or interesting, he just is. And that quiet self-assurance, it can rattle people who think being loud means being strong. The Sigma man can be standing right next to you, fully aware of everything that's happening, and yet somehow not part of the crowd. He listens more than he talks. He observes without needing to interrupt. And the strange part, even though he isn't trying to impress anyone, you'll find yourself curious about him, wondering what he's thinking, wondering why he's so calm while everyone else seems so busy trying to be liked. Take a look at any public place. Most people are caught in a loop of performance. Loud laughter that doesn't match the moment, constant phone checking, subtle glances to see who's watching them. But then there's that one guy who's just there, grounded, not bored, not detached, just content in his own presence. That's your Sigma. He's not disconnected from the world. He just refuses to lose himself in it. And that's rare. That's power. Maybe you've felt this before, like you're invisible even when you're right there. Like people overlook you because you don't chase approval. That doesn't mean you lack worth. It means you're moving on your own terms. You don't need noise to feel real. You don't have to prove anything. People who live for attention will never understand someone who lives for peace. That's why your presence feels like silence wrapped in certainty. And trust me, that silence, it speaks louder than all the noise in the room. Number 2, he moves like time isn't real. There's something different about the way a Sigma male moves through the world. He's not rushing. He's not dragging his feet either. His pace is his own. Calm, steady, controlled. You can tell right away he's not caught up in trying to keep up with anyone else. And that's exactly what makes people stop and take notice, even if they don't realize it. While everyone else is speeding through life like they're running out of time, he's moving like he owns every second. Not because he's lazy or slow, but because he's not operating on anyone else's timeline. He doesn't chase trends. He doesn't follow social clocks. Whether he's walking through a busy street or sipping his coffee, he looks like a man who is exactly where he's supposed to be. Think about it. You've probably seen someone like this before, maybe at a cafe. While others are on their phones typing fast and checking the clock every minute, there's this one guy just sitting there. Calm, not distracted, not bothered. He might be reading something, watching the world, or simply sitting in silence, and you can feel it. He's not waiting for something, he's just being. That's Sigma energy. A Sigma male doesn't panic over being late because he's not living to impress anyone. He's not scared of missing out. He's not rushing to meet expectations that never came from him in the first place. That calm way he moves, it comes from knowing who he is. It comes from not being owned by pressure. This doesn't mean he's passive, far from it. He knows how to act quickly when needed. But the difference is he chooses when to act. He doesn't let time bully him. He lives in it, not under it. And in a world full of hurry and noise, that kind of stillness feels almost unreal. Number 3. He doesn't scan the room for approval. Most people walk into a space looking for signs. Who's watching me? Did they notice what I'm wearing? Should I adjust my tone, my posture, my energy? It's almost automatic. A silent search for approval. But the Sigma male? He's wired differently. He doesn't walk into a space looking for permission to be himself. He's not there to impress. He's there to understand. Instead of searching for reactions, he's reading the room like a map. He notices the quiet details most people miss. The guy in the corner pretending to laugh. The woman near the window constantly glancing at her phone. The subtle shift in someone's eyes when they're lying. He's not judging. He's just aware. He doesn't need to be the loudest in the room because he's already 5 steps ahead in understanding the dynamics. Let's say he walks into a meeting. While everyone else is scrambling to sound smart or look confident, he's watching who interrupts whom. He's clocking who avoids eye contact, who fakes enthusiasm, and who genuinely listens. He studies structure. He's not concerned with popularity points or empty praise. He's tuned in to what actually matters. This is why people often say Sigma men are intimidating. It's not arrogance, it's presence. It's that quiet refusal to play the social games everyone else depends on. And when someone doesn't care about approval, they become a mirror. People start to see their own insecurities reflected back at them. You might relate to this. Maybe you've always felt a little disconnected from group dynamics. Maybe you've walked into rooms and felt more like an observer than a participant. That doesn't mean you're cold or antisocial. It means your mind is sharp and your focus is real. The Sigma male doesn't enter to be accepted. He enters already knowing his value, and that truth needs no audience. Number 4. His silence says more than others' words. A Sigma male isn't quiet because he's shy or unsure. He's quiet because most things just aren't worth saying. He doesn't speak just to be heard. He doesn't jump into conversations just to avoid awkward pauses. He lets the silence breathe. And in that stillness, people feel something they can't always explain: presence. Most people talk to feel included, to feel important, to keep the energy going. But a Sigma knows that words lose their weight when they're thrown around carelessly. If he chooses to speak, it's because he has something to say, not because the moment feels empty, not because he needs to fill the silence. And when he does speak, people lean in, because they know it's not small talk, it's not noise, it's sharp, deliberate, and real. His words often carry more impact than a 10-minute speech filled with fluff, because they come from a place of thought, not performance. Think about someone at a gathering who barely says a word all night. People start to wonder, who is he? What's going on in his head? They feel his silence more than they feel someone else's constant talking. That's the Sigma effect. His silence doesn't come off as awkward. It comes off as powerful, calculated, alive, and sometimes the silence itself is the message. If he doesn't reply, it's not because he didn't hear you. It's because the conversation already answered itself, or because your question didn't need a response. If you're the type who's always been told you're too quiet, understand this. Your silence can be a strength. When you speak less, people listen more. You don't have to say much to say everything. The Sigma man knows this, and he's mastered it. Number 5. He dresses like he owes no explanation. A Sigma male style isn't about showing off. It's not curated for approval or borrowed from someone else's idea of cool. He wears what feels right to him, not what's trending, not what turns heads. Whether it's simple jeans and a plain tee or something that looks totally out of place in the crowd, every piece he wears carries a reason, even if he never says it out loud. His clothes aren't fashion statements, they're silent choices. And they speak louder than logos ever could. What you see might look random or understated, but there's always purpose behind it. Maybe it's comfort, maybe it's function, maybe it's the fact that he doesn't want to waste energy trying to impress people he doesn't care about. And here's the thing, people can feel that. They might not understand it, but they notice it. He doesn't look like he's trying too hard, yet he still stands out. Why? Because he looks free. While everyone else is adjusting their outfits for the crowd, the Sigma male is already out the door. Comfortable, focused, done. You won't catch him fussing over brands or checking mirrors every 5 minutes. He doesn't need to. His confidence isn't stitched into his clothes. It's built into who he is. Think about it. You've probably seen that one guy who walks past and doesn't match anything or anyone, but still makes you look twice. That's not style. That's clarity. That's someone dressing for himself, not the world. A Sigma male knows the truth. Real presence isn't worn, it's lived. And that's why he never owes anyone an explanation for what he wears. His identity isn't hanging in a closet, it's already in the way he carries himself. Quiet, sure, unbothered. Number 6, he doesn't smile to be liked. A Sigma male doesn't hand out smiles like business cards. He's not in the room to make everyone feel cozy or comfortable. He's not playing the charm game. If he smiles, it's real. If he doesn't, it's not because he's cold or arrogant. It's because he refuses to fake it. In a world where many people wear a smile like a mask just to fit in, the Sigma male does the opposite. He doesn't force expressions he doesn't feel. He doesn't bend his face to meet social expectations. If he's amused, you'll see it. If he respects you, you'll feel it. But if he's neutral, he stays neutral. No performance, no pretending. This can throw people off. Some find it refreshing. Others find it uncomfortable. We're so used to polite smiles, nervous laughter, and surface-level friendliness that when someone chooses not to play along, it feels almost rebellious. Imagine someone greeting him with a big smile, expecting the same in return. But all they get is a calm nod or a look that says, "I see you, but I'm not here to entertain you." That moment? That's the Sigma difference. He doesn't use smiles as social currency, and yet, when he does smile, when that rare expression crosses his face, you know it's earned. You know it means something. It's not for show, it's not strategic, it's honest. If you're someone who's never been great at faking emotions, who gets labeled as too serious or too distant, maybe it's not a flaw. Maybe it's a signal that you're wired like the Sigma. You value truth over politeness, substance over surface. The Sigma male doesn't smile to be liked. He smiles when he feels it, and that's exactly why his presence feels so real. Number 7, he watches the watchers. While most people are trying to be noticed, a Sigma male is doing something entirely different. He's watching the ones who are desperate to be seen, the ones performing, the ones who rely on attention to feel valuable. But he doesn't watch with envy or judgment. He watches with curiosity, with precision. He wants to understand what drives people to crave so much from others. He doesn't step into the spotlight because he's too focused on what's happening behind it. He sees the way someone's tone changes when new people walk in. He notices how a person's smile fades the second no one's watching. These are the things others miss because they're too busy performing themselves. A Sigma male has trained himself to see through masks. He's not distracted by charm or noise. While everyone else is scanning for approval or trying to one-up each other, he's in the back, reading the real script. He knows when someone's being fake. He knows when someone's trying too hard. And the truth is, he doesn't need to call it out. Just knowing is enough. Imagine a crowded room, laughter bouncing off the walls, stories being exaggerated, people competing to lead the conversation. And in the corner, there's one man simply observing, not because he's shy, but because he already understands the rhythm. He knows how this plays out. And instead of joining the noise, he studies it. If you've ever felt more comfortable watching than being watched, more interested in the truth behind the talk than the talk itself, then you already know what this feels like. You don't need the spotlight. You understand the value of quiet observation. The Sigma male doesn't want to be seen. He wants to see. And in that silence, he often learns more about people than they know about themselves. Number 8, you feel judged around him, but he's not judging you. There's something about a Sigma male's presence that makes people uncomfortable, even when he hasn't said a word. It's not that he's looking down on anyone. It's not that he's silently criticizing. The truth is he's just there, fully present, fully himself, and that kind of raw authenticity has a way of stirring up everything people are trying to hide. He's not judging you. He doesn't care about the mask you're wearing or the version of yourself you're performing. He's not impressed by titles, trends, or how many people laugh at your jokes. He's not playing the game, which means you start to feel exposed for playing it. You sit across from him and suddenly become aware of every exaggerated word, every forced smile, every fake laugh. His silence makes you hear yourself. That's why it stings. Not because he's harsh, but because he reflects back what's real. And if you're not being real with yourself, that reflection is uncomfortable. It's like being in a room with a mirror you didn't ask to look into. He doesn't need to say a thing. His quiet, grounded energy makes people second-guess the role they're playing, and that can feel like judgment, even though it's really just clarity. Think about it. Ever been around someone who made you feel strangely exposed without doing anything? That's the Sigma effect. His presence forces you to confront your own noise, your own doubts. And for those who build their confidence on being seen, being around someone who truly sees without needing to be seen is unsettling. But here's the twist. If you're real with yourself, his presence doesn't shake you, it challenges you, and that's a rare kind of power, one that doesn't come from domination but from quiet truth. Number 9. He looks like he could disappear at any moment and be fine. There's something in the way a Sigma male carries himself that quietly says, I don't need to be here. Not in a bitter or arrogant way, but in a way that shows complete emotional independence. He could leave a conversation halfway through. He could walk away from a group, a relationship, even a job, without making a scene. No dramatic exits, no craving to be pulled back. Just a clean break and peace on the other side of it. This isn't about being detached or heartless. It's about being whole. Most people stay connected to things because they fear what they'd be without them. A Sigma doesn't. He doesn't bind his identity to a table full of friends, a city he grew up in, or a relationship that no longer feeds his soul. He's grounded, but never glued. He knows how to love deeply without losing himself. He knows how to be present without being owned by the moment. You ever met someone who never seems desperate to stay, but also never seems eager to leave? That calm presence, that quiet readiness, that's a Sigma male. He can give you his full attention and walk away tomorrow with no bitterness and no guilt, not because he doesn't care, but because he refuses to be emotionally caged. It's the kind of freedom that makes people uncomfortable. Most are used to others clinging, needing, pleading. So when someone shows up whole and leaves just as whole, it feels unnatural. But for the Sigma, it's not unnatural, it's necessary. He's not escaping life, he's simply not owned by it. That's why you get the sense he could vanish and still be fine, because wherever he goes, he takes himself with him, and that, right there, is his greatest power. Number 10. He walks alone, even in a crowd. A Sigma male doesn't need to be physically isolated to feel separate. He can be surrounded by people, laughter and noise, and still feel like he's on his own wavelength. It's not loneliness, it's clarity. There's a quiet detachment in him that sets him apart, like he's observing life from just a step outside of it. He's not cold or rude. He'll engage if there's a reason. He can hold a deep conversation, share a laugh, even enjoy the moment. But you can sense it. He's not wrapped up in the performance happening around him. While others are busy building personas, feeding egos, and subtly competing for attention, he's standing back, fully aware but untouched by it all. It's like there's a glass wall between him and the crowd. He sees everything clearly, the fakeness, the self-promotion, the hidden agendas. But he doesn't call it out, he doesn't need to. His silence is a filter. It keeps the noise out and his peace intact. Ever seen someone at a party, sitting quietly, not checking their phone, not trying to be seen, just being? That's a Sigma. He's not lost, he's not awkward. He just doesn't need the spotlight or the validation floating around the room. He can be in the middle of the chaos and still feel centered. There's power in that kind of solitude. It's not a weakness, it's control. When you walk through life not needing to constantly prove yourself, you naturally create space. Space that keeps your mind sharp and your energy protected. A Sigma male walks alone because he's chosen depth over noise, truth over performance, and even in the loudest crowd, that quiet sense of self follows him everywhere. Number 11. He doesn't carry his phone like a leash. A Sigma male's phone is just a tool, not a lifeline. You won't catch him glued to it, refreshing every notification like his identity depends on it. He doesn't scroll out of boredom, and he definitely doesn't post just to be seen. While others constantly check their screens hoping for a digital hit of validation, he's grounded in the real world, the present moment, his own mind. He's not ignoring people. He's prioritizing peace. And that peace often comes from stepping away from the noise disguised as connection. When he checks his phone, it's with purpose, not habit. He doesn't feel anxious when it's on silent. He doesn't panic when he hasn't replied in 2 minutes. That calm detachment from digital pressure is rare and powerful. Picture a crowded cafe. Most people are scrolling mindlessly, tapping between apps, barely aware of their surroundings. But the Sigma, he's sitting still, drinking his coffee, maybe watching the people around him, maybe lost in thought. He's not in a rush to document anything. He's not hunting for validation in likes or comments. He's just living. This kind of presence can be uncomfortable for people who constantly need digital distractions. But the Sigma doesn't need distractions. He's already comfortable in his own head. His silence isn't awkward. His stillness isn't boredom. It's focus. A phone doesn't dictate his value or interrupt his peace. He's not reachable at all times because he doesn't want to be. That's not selfish. That's intentional, and it's exactly why his attention, when you get it, feels real. The Sigma male owns his time, his energy, and his attention. His phone doesn't control him. He decides when to engage, when to disconnect, and when to just be. And that quiet discipline, that's what separates him from the crowd. In conclusion, he doesn't follow the noise. He becomes the silence people can't ignore. A Sigma male doesn't owe the world a performance. He doesn't exist to impress, entertain, or explain. He's not the loudest voice in the room, but he's the one that lingers in your mind long after everyone else fades. And that presence, that quiet authority, it's not by accident. It's the result of self-awareness, discipline, and the kind of inner peace that can't be bought or borrowed. Recognizing a Sigma male in public isn't about spotting a certain look or attitude. It's about feeling the difference. It's how he owns his time, how he listens without rushing to speak, how he walks through the world with no need for applause. He's not trying to impress you. He is not waiting for your approval. He has already decided who he is, and if that unsettles some people, so be it. Being a Sigma male means you're not afraid to walk your own path, even if it's quieter or less understood. You don't crave attention, but you demand respect simply by being unapologetically yourself. That is rare. That is powerful. That is real. So if you see yourself in these traits, know this. You are not broken. You're just not built for the shallow games most people are busy playing. That's not a weakness. That's your strength. Stay grounded. Stay honest. Stay away from anything that asks you to shrink just to fit in. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand alone, with purpose. Thank you, watching brothers.